Hey, what's up everybody? Jack Mini Trades back here again with another video, and today we're going to be continuing our coverage of the WWDC 2023 event with iOS 17. So that's the new release of iPhone OS, which is pretty exciting. Lots of cool stuff was announced at WWDC. If you don't already know about all of that stuff, make sure that you check out the video up here. And with that being said, before we get started, please be sure to drop a like down below, as it does help out the algorithm, and also subscribe to the channel if you're not already, because I do a lot of videos here about tech, about other things, tutorials, things like that, stuff that you might enjoy. So if any of that interests you, definitely drop a sub, as 97.5% of you guys are not subscribed yet, and I'd love to have you as a part of my community. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. All right, so here we are on the iPhone 14 Pro Max, as you guys have seen before on this channel. Of course, this is the newest iPhone, so this will have all of the features that are going to be available for iOS 17. Now, if you are on an older version of an iPhone that does support iOS 17, you may not necessarily get access to all of these features, so just be aware of that and pay attention to what features are and are not included for your specific iPhone. Generally speaking though, most of the features are not really that groundbreaking or revolutionary this year, so I don't think you're missing out on too much, and I don't think it's necessarily a reason to upgrade if you don't already have an iPhone 14 or 14 Pro Max. But with that being said, let's get straight into it. So as you can see here on our lock screen, things are looking pretty similar to the last iteration of iOS 16. Your customizable lock screen where you can change the fonts of your text, the size of your text, colors, all of that stuff. One thing that is different though about this versus the older ones is now we have this ability to add live wallpapers that sort of animate when you turn on your iPhone. So you can see this is just a flyby picture that I took over Chicago, and you can see there's a little bit of motion that shows up there. So that's kind of cool, but it's not really necessarily a groundbreaking feature, but it is something that's kind of cool to have. So let's just get straight into this. All right, so on the home screen, as you can see, again, things are looking pretty similar to the way that they have for a long time. But iOS 17 isn't really about new features so much as it is about refining what's already been there. One of the first refinements that I think you'll like is inside of messages. So if we go here and create a new message to myself, what you'll see is if you tap the plus icon, a nice little pop-up here on the side will show up, giving you all of the options that you have to add things to your text message. So you can go to camera, photos, stickers, cache, audio, and you can send your location. Really, really nice and convenient here. A lot nicer than the old carousel form that they had before. I think this is a much cleaner way of doing it. And then if you slide up, you can get access to even more things like your emojis, your music, stickers, other things like that. So I do like this quite a bit, and I think that it's a big enhancement over the previous couple of generations where we had that sliding carousel down at the bottom. So another thing that is new to text in particular, and this is system-wide, it doesn't have to be an Apple app or anything like that, is this new predictive text feature. So if we start typing here, you can see that it'll autocomplete the end of your words. You can just tap the space bar to complete the word and continue typing. So you see there it finished fact that. So over time, this will learn how you type and it'll get a little bit better. Now, that being said, I don't think that it's anywhere near the level of Google's predictive text algorithm for their Gmail and other types of web apps that have been around for quite a while, but it is nice to see that Apple is now finally starting to catch up with that. So those are some of the major features coming with iMessage. There's not really a ton of new stuff, but another thing that is kind of nice is if we go here and we send that text message, again, it's to myself, so not really an issue here. What we can do is go here and go to our stickers, and you have all of the stickers that you have installed, plus now any emoji can now be used as a sticker. So let's just say that we want to take this one, stick it on, boom, there you go. So that is kind of cool. And now here, if we go to this little stickers tab here, you can actually add your own stickers from photos. So what we've had on iOS 16 for a little bit is the ability to pull out subjects from photos and put them as images in messages. Now Apple has taken it a step further and made these stickers. So now you can just peel them off, stick them onto messages, boom, there you go. So you see that now you have a lot more flexibility in terms of the stickers available to you. You can have as many stickers as you want and stickers of whatever you want, as long as you can take a picture of it and pull it off of that picture using Apple Photos, you will be able to have a sticker. So that's cool. And stickers are also now available system-wide. So if you go into your notes, you can use stickers there. So that's a pretty cool feature if you guys do like the stickers. All right, so another thing that is kind of nice about iOS 17 is that FaceTime has gotten an upgrade. So what we can do now with FaceTime is you can call somebody, and if they don't pick up, you can leave a video message to them. So that way you can show them whatever you want to show them, or just give them a friendly hello, and they'll be able to see your face and hear your voice. So that's kind of cool. If you are trying to FaceTime somebody and they're not available, that is now an option for you. I think it should have been an option for a long time, but again, it's nice to have now. So also inside of FaceTime, another thing that's really great to have is this new reactions feature. So as you can see here, if you do certain gestures like 2 thumbs up, it'll create a stereoscopic type of image around you of confetti, fireworks, balloons, there's a heart, there's thumbs up, thumbs down, stuff like that. So if you don't want to do the gestures to activate this feature, you can also just simply press and hold on your picture at whatever corner of the screen your picture happens to be. It'll open up a palette for you, and then you can just simply tap on whatever effect that you want. There's rain as well. So these things are pretty cool. They basically pull you out of the image, put this effect over top of it, and it's really pretty fun. I've used it a couple of times on FaceTime. And just so that way you guys know, this feature is only available on the iPhone 12 and later. So if you don't have those iPhones, you won't be able to do this confetti type effect or the fireworks or anything like that. Another thing that they've added as far as FaceTime is the ability to do FaceTime on Apple TV. So with this, you're going to need a relatively new Apple TV. So with this, you're going to need an Apple TV 4K 2nd generation or newer, and you're also going to need an iPhone XS or XR or newer to be able to take advantage of this. So that is something, if you would like to have that, you just have to make sure that you meet those requirements. And then you can use your iPhone's cameras and your TV's screen to do FaceTime calls. Another thing that's pretty cool that they've added is the standby feature. So standby is pretty nice in that it allows you to see live activities. Like if you ordered something on Uber Eats, you can see how the status of that is going while your iPhone is sitting on a dock. You also can see things like your clock, calendar, music, photos, whatever it is that you might be interested in. And you can also use Siri while it's on that mode. Speaking of Siri, now you have a couple of options to talk to her. So you can say, hey Siri, like normal, or now you can also just say Siri and then ask your question. And without having to reinitiate the conversation, you can just keep asking questions over and over and over again, and Siri will continue to respond to you, instead of like it was before where you kept having to say the trigger over and over and over and over again. This makes it a lot more of a useful companion rather than sort of a gimmick. All right, so another thing related to the FaceTime calls and other types of things like that is this new poster mode. So For any of your contacts, you can now add a profile picture as well as a poster. So the poster will show up whenever they call you, and it'll be this very nice, big, dimensional picture. So as you can see here, you can do it with memojis, you can do it with actual pictures, and it even has support for Chinese characters in vertical mode. So that's pretty cool. And if you get a call and you don't feel like taking it at the moment, or you don't know who it is, you will get automatic transcriptions that show up. So that way, if you do decide that you want to take the call, you can just accept it and get on the call with them. This is pretty nice. It sort of reminds me of features that have been on home phones for years, but it's nice to see that your iPhone is now able to do this for you. And also, they've added a new check-in feature, so this is going to be nice for especially younger kids and parents. You can now have your kids check in with you, so if they leave a location or they're going somewhere, you can have them send you a check-in with their destination, and if they go off course or it's taking them a little bit longer than expected to get there, you'll get notifications and you can respond accordingly. So this is very nice that Apple is again expanding on their expanding on their features to keep people safe. All right, so another thing that they've added is interactive widgets. So if you have lights or something like that connected to your home app, you can now just activate them using this. And so that's a pretty cool feature for you. Not something that I'm necessarily using all the time, but if you have your reminders, you can mark items as completed, things like that. Also, they've made some improvements to AirDrop. So these are not really things that I'm able to test right now because I don't have multiple iPhones on iOS 17 to show you, but you can now bring your phone close to another iPhone with your contact information and it'll automatically swap it from your phone to their phone, and then it'll swap their contact information from their phone to yours. And so that is a pretty cool way of sharing contact information, much better than the old way of having to manually put in all of your details every time that you met somebody. Another thing is that now you can do the same thing but with AirDrop. So if you're trying to AirDrop photos or files or other things like that, you can just bring your phones close together. It'll automatically start sharing, and as long as it initiates, you can leave and it'll still continue sharing until it completes. So that is really cool because it's able to now leverage the internet to facilitate the transfer of information. Once it starts off, it'll finish. And so that's really cool if you have to go, but you wanted to give somebody a couple of photos or videos or something like that. Now you can do that and you don't have to worry about being in range for the entire transfer. So you can also do the same thing with SharePlay, where if you hold two iPhones together, you can now instantly start a SharePlay session. So for music or videos, other things like that, video games, whatever you want, now that's a thing. Journal is a new app that they're coming out with. It's not out yet, but it will be coming soon. That is a pretty cool app for those of you who like to journal your life. If you like to keep track of hikes or other types of events and things that you've done, this is coming to Apple iPhone. This is coming to iOS 17 when it releases later this year. So another cool update for Safari is that now you have password sharing. So if you have friends and family who may need access to a certain password that you have, you can now just simply share that password with them and it'll be added to their keychain. So a pretty cool feature if you are into that. So another thing that's been added is autofill verification codes received in mail. So this is very cool if you are somebody who uses the autofill feature for text messages. Some web apps, they don't use text messages to send verification codes, but they do send emails. That has always been an annoyance for me, having to go and open my email every time that I get a email verification code. So now with this, you don't have to worry about it. So another thing that's pretty cool that's coming later this year to the iPhone is if you have a car with Apple CarPlay, you can now have a SharePlay session inside of your car, so that way you can have people add to the playlist. So that way you don't have to be passing around an aux cord or or having to keep disconnecting and reconnecting iPhones. You can now just work off of the same connection and have your friends or family or whoever else is in the car with you add music as you go. So that is pretty cool. AirPlay is also coming to hotels later in this year. So that is something that's nice. If you have a hotel that will support that, you can just walk into your hotel, share Play to your TV in the room, and be on your way. On the topic of music and convenience is AirPods Pro 2 are getting a upgrade to their noise canceling feature. So this is going to make it more aware of your situations. So as you're moving throughout your day, you can have noise canceling on, and then if somebody starts talking to you and you talk back, it'll dim the noise cancellation and dim your music so that way you can clearly hear the other person. When you finish talking, it'll just resume back where you were at with the same volume and noise canceling level. So that's pretty cool. It's not available right now, but it will be soon. Also with maps, what's cool is that they've added the ability to download maps for offline usage. So if you're going out and hiking in an area where you're not going to have cell service, you can download the portion of the map that you would need to get through that particular hike and have that on hand. So that is a very exciting feature for those of you who are outdoor enthusiasts. So Spotlight has also gotten a little bit of an upgrade where now app shortcuts are in top hits. You also have visual lookup, so this further enhances on what Apple's been doing over the past couple of years with animals and flowers and other things like that with their photo recognition technology. Now you can just take a picture of a dish and it'll bring up recipes related to what your dish looks like. So that's another thing that is pretty neat. Inside of Health, they're adding this feature to basically log how you're feeling throughout the day and throughout the weeks and months and years. So if that interests you, that is there. And if you guys were interested on what this will be available on, here is the full list. So it goes all the way back to the iPhone SE 2nd generation, and of course all the way up to the iPhone 14 series. So another couple of things that are pretty nice is now tab groups have gotten a little bit of an upgrade. So as you can see here, we have a couple of tab groups. So we have this JMT Media group here. If you tap here, you can see all of your tab groups. If we tap the plus icon, you can see that now we have specific favorites for your tab groups. So right now, this is only a feature that's available when you are inside of a tab group. Hopefully they'll bring it out eventually, so that way if you're just regularly browsing the internet, you can also see favorites from your tab groups. But it is nice to see that you can now have separate favorites beyond just your normal favorites. So that's pretty cool. Another thing that's nice is that if you are a person who uses private browsing, you now have a lock on this. So you just have to use Face ID to unlock it, and it'll automatically close your tabs and other things like that, and just keep you a little bit more secure while you're browsing the internet. So that is a new feature. All right, so the last feature that I wanted to show you guys is this new standby feature. So as you can see here, by default, you have a clock on the left, and right now I have the weather on the right. So this will just provide you glanceable information. If you have an iPhone 14 Pro or Pro Max, you'll have the always on feature. If you do not, you will probably just have it turn off after a little while, and then you'll have to wake the display again. But it is nice that Apple has added this, so that way if you guys have a desktop dock or something like that that will charge your iPhone, as long as it's being charged, it can do this. And so you can just scroll along on the side, get any different view that you want. On the right side, you can also scroll through. These are also smart stacks, so if you are so throughout the day, if you have events or other things like that coming up, it'll automatically show you relevant information. You can add stuff to it. So this works with all of your regular widgets and things like that. So you can add your battery statuses. So here we go. Now we have all of our batteries, weather. So you can really customize this however you like. And that is a pretty cool feature. So So that's a pretty cool feature. You can also swipe to the right and it'll show you a picture and some information on it. It also, if you swipe right again, you'll get a digital clock and some relevant information. You can swipe up, see different types of clocks. So this is a pretty nice feature for those of you guys who have a nice desktop setup. I think you'll really like this. But with that being said, those are the major features coming to the iPhone in iOS 17. Like I said, it's not really a major update, but there are a couple of things that are nice quality of life improvements if you care about that. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely make sure to drop a like down below if you didn't already, and subscribe if you haven't already, because I would love to have you guys as a part of my channel, as a part of the subscriber family. So if you guys have done that, I will see you guys in the next video, and I hope you guys have an amazing day.